Hi Virgo, Enchantress here, master weaver of mystery suspense thrillers, as well as broadcaster of astrology. Welcome to Enchantress Press Astrology. First, I'd like to thank you for being here with me today, for lending me your ears, your eyes, and your time. I know it is valuable, and in return, I will be sharing information with you regarding the astrology that will help you navigate your month to get the best outcomes possible. Okay? Now, as you know, I am an author of mystery suspense. If you'd like to know more about Enchantress, the author, hit the down bar. All of my links are there, as well as the link for the healing chakra beads and the sun catchers. In addition to that, happy Mother's Day. It's the month of May that we are going through. Although we are going over Taurus season, we are going over May in its entirety. So before we get into it, don't forget to like the channel or like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you help me grow. Please, I would appreciate it tremendously. Now, let's get into why we're here. Taurus season is here from April 20th through May 20th. The fixed earth sign of Taurus is ruled by Venus, one of the hottest planets in our solar system. Venus represents the finer things in life, with money and love right at its center, which makes Taurus all about diving into those sensual pleasures that bring us contentment. The sign craves the feeling of love, literally and figuratively. So this season, take some time to enjoy what it is you have while you appreciate it as well. Now, the urge to treat yourself might be heightened during Taurus season, of course. So to overindulge is one of the many characteristics of the sign of Taurus. Not to give it a rap or anything like that, but you know it is. Taurus always knows what it wants, and it wants a lot of it. Now, if you find yourself coming into some extra cash, try not to spend it all in one place. We're not out of the woods net yet, quite yet, especially with the economy, so be careful. Luckily, Taurus is a grounded sign, which is sure to help you plan out help you set a plan of action into place to combat the current issues we may be facing. Remember, one step at a time. Taurus demands we be gentle with ourselves, okay? So let's see where some of the major planets will be transiting. Now, of course, in May, we're getting a wall of retrogrades, right? We're hitting a wall of retrogrades from a lot of the planets. So May is about redoing, re-editing, reviewing, revising, restructuring, rehashing. A lot of planets are going back over and looking over things past. Scorpio demands that we dive in deep, and Gemini demands we discuss it. Okay? Now, one cool thing I want to share with you before I jump into into Uranus is something my cousin Becca sent me to my messenger. I thought it was pretty cool. It's about Venus and Jupiter. They're actually aligning with the moon, creating a smiley face on May 16th. So what I'll do is I'll put the link to the astronomy in the newsletter that comes out on May the 1st. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, you can comment with your email below and I will add you to the list. Okay. Now let's get into the transits. Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus, the planet of revolution, shocks, and surprises. The earth sign of Taurus reigns over our values, our money, our resources. Taurus rules the second house. So that's money. Venus is there. Money, values, resources, and they're all going forward now. We are experiencing drastic evolution in those areas. More shocks and surprises are even in store for us at the start of the month when Uranus is conjunct the sun. Also, with Mercury there until May 11th, expect some surprises in communication, some shocks in communication to be coming your way as a collective, all of us. The sun entered Taurus on April 19th, and it remains there until May the 20th when it transitions into Gemini. Okay. Now, Juno. Juno is a large asteroid. They thought it used to be a planet. They used to think it was a planet. Anyway, it's so large, it does have an effect on us. It goes direct in the sign of Libra on May 26th. Juno is about marriage and commitment, relationship issues, domestic disputes, and natural disasters are all affected during Juno's shift. It's shifting May 26th in Libra, which means she wants justice. Okay? Mercury, the planet of communication and skills and sales and intellect, it enters curious Gemini, where it is exalted, on May 11th, which can have you feeling chatty. It's a welcome change, of course, because it's moving from away from Uranus in Taurus and coming over here. So that's less shocking. With all the activity on social media, it's a perfect time to make online connections. Now, once Mercury transitions into the sign of Cancer on May 28th, where it is debilitated, your subconscious could have you kind of moody. It could make communications more guarded. A word of advice would be to just try and remain in the present. Okay, don't let anybody get to you. Now, Venus, planet of romance, finances, abundance, even pleasure. It goes retrograde in Gemini on May 13th. Love and communication are in focus. The way you go about putting these things into action is actually in question. Some will get a chance to deal with the same issue over again. Will you handle it as you did in the past? If so, did you receive your desired result? If not, this is your chance to shift the outcome. Talks about finances will be a big focus during this time as well. So, of course, I don't recommend making any big shifts in finances unless it's scaling back. I also ward against making any drastic changes in your appearance during Venus retrograde. No cosmetic surgeries. Of course, you can't do that anyway, especially with the current status of our environment, world, economy, everything, the coronavirus. There you go. You may not have a taste for the way you look afterwards once the planet is going forward. So you don't want to do that. Mars, planet of challenges, energy. It enters Pisces, where it is debilitated, on May 13th. Okay. And I say it's debilitated because Mars is usually Aries. Mars rules Aries. Okay. Aries is a more competitive sign. They're ready to meet their obstacles head on, to forge forward and face their opponents head on. And Pisces is more, they like to use their intuition and things like that as to how to proceed further. Regardless as to their respective energies, they're coming into each other's. So they have to mesh. Being that they have to mesh, they have to learn how to work together. So that's why I say that you'll be using your intuitive side to tap into solutions, new solutions, because while you're up for the challenge, you'll be finding yourself navigating issues with more forethought because of Pisces. Exhausting yourself is just something Pisces simply doesn't feel the need to do, so don't do it. Now, Jupiter, a planet of luck and expansion, it goes retrograde in 27 degrees in the sign of Capricorn on May 14th, joining Pluto and heightening everything within its sphere. Okay. Remember, Jupiter wants bigger, but that doesn't always translate to better. I'll elaborate below and when I talk about Pluto and in your individual scopes. I do want to remind you that Jupiter also affects travel. So expect delays in travel as well to still be an issue. Saturn goes retrograde in Aquarius at 1 degree on May 11th. As you know, Saturn is the planet of restrictions, responsibility, karma, good or bad. Your actions help determine how karma plays out. It's not the time to make drastic changes in career or your foundation. It's not the time to make drastic changes in your foundation. Okay? I have to say that twice. Now, Pluto, planet of rebirth, renewal, resources, is now retrograde until October the 4th. This is a time of transformation for the collective. Be gentle with yourself. In the coming months, our faiths will be tested. Don't allow fear to bind you mentally. Don't be easily deceived. Do your homework before believing media or social propaganda, as it will be being shoved into our faces from all directions. Now is a time for sketchy people to come out of the woodworks. Okay? We as a collective are at a vulnerable point in our lives. We as individuals must do our part by keeping our hopes up, maintaining our mental health, as well as doing what we can to be a part of the solution as opposed to perpetuating the problem. The silver lining is that Pluto, being conjunct Jupiter, helps us to keep our eyes on the prize while facing the coming shifts in our personal and private lives. I implore you, keep a kind heart. The world needs compassion, as does the entire human race. Now, moving along. The full hair flower moon, it can be called the hair or the flower moon, on May 7th is in the fixed water sign of Scorpio. Open up the lines of communication. Dive deep. Do that detective work, as Scorpio requires a look at what's beneath the surface. Just be mindful of thinking before you speak. Scorpio is about death and transformation. The full moon brings matters to a point of culmination. Any full moon, whether it be in business or love, there is much to be revealed this moon cycle. This moon also T-squares Mars in Aquarius and the Sun and Mercury in Taurus. So I'll show you. The moon will be in Scorpio. Mars will be over here in Aquarius. And then Mercury and the Sun will be in Taurus. So that's creating the T-square. Okay? The new moon on May 22nd is in the mutable air sign of Gemini. Gemini is a curious sign who loves to communicate more over network. Okay? What new endeavors would you like to see in the works? It's the perfect time to read up, to ask around, to take those initial steps. Now, let's get into your individual astrology, Virgo. Okay, I know you've been waiting for this. So, Virgo ranges from August 23rd through September 22nd. The Scorpio full moon on May 7th in your area of communication The Scorpio full moon on May 7th is in your area of communication and siblings. Now it's squaring, that's that T-square I was talking about, Mars and Aquarius, in your sector of work and health. Coupled with the Sun and Mercury in your sector of education, philosophy, and travel. Okay, so that's the T-square where you're seeing, and when I say T-square, I don't want you to think it's something that's just horrible. It doesn't have to be something horrible. I mean, it could be something as small as, let's see, it says communication and siblings, work and health, and education, travel, and philosophy. It could be something as minor as your sister calling you because her car broke down and she needs a ride to work. Or you call your sibling because your car broke down because you need a ride to work. But I hope that's not the case, you know. But it could be something like that. And I don't want to make light of that to make it seem like car trouble is light. But you're meshing the three areas that you're going to be dealing with. And that's how we come up with different predictions, you know. Part of how we do it, you know. A lot of your chart depends on that too, you know, which you have in other houses. Your personal chart depends on this as well. This is just Virgos in general, okay? Now, Saturn, the planet of restrictions and responsibilities, and Venus, the planet of love, finances, and pleasure, go retrograde just before the second week of May. dumping a load of work onto your lap, and a redo in finances. Don't make the same mistakes, Virgo. You know what to do. Get on task. The Sun and Mercury, planet of skills, communication, intellect, your ruler, transits Gemini, making career, your sector of career and mastery, a focus. Work diligently to iron out the kinks in work projects. Squares can always be overcome, okay? You'll be happy that you remained on task. In fact, your reputation shall precede you, actually. Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, going retrograde, aspects your area of romance, creativity, children, and it's also trying your sign, lending positive energy to those areas. Saturn, the planet of karma, restrictions, responsibility, it retrogrades on May 11th, affecting your sector of work and health. Again, complete projects, Virgo. It's also a time to take a look at your health and diet. Many of us have been, overindulging, especially when Venus was in Taurus, The retrogrades have come to remind us what we need to work on. Okay, so let's not be afraid. Let's get it going again. Okay. Mars, the planet of energy and challenges, enters Pisces on May 13th in your 7th house of partnerships. Okay, so you're going to be putting energy into working out partnerships, or you may come against some challenges in partnerships. Okay, Venus, planet of love, pleasure, and finances, goes retrograde on the 13th in your sector of home. With all the retrogrades happening, you'll want to use your discernment when taking on new offers or projects or spending any extra money. The opportunities will arise, though. Your ruler is direct all month, so the opportunities will be coming, but you just have to be discerning. I mean, you're always discerning anyway, Virgo, but you kind of want to make sure you have your radar on, because this month, especially with that Scorpio moon, it's going to be a lot of lies circulating. The new moon on May 22nd, or deceitful people, I'll say that. The new moon on May 22nd in Gemini highlights your career sector. A new opportunity may clash with something you already have in the works, so you might have to try to work something out if you want to take that new project on. Okay. So that is the end of your astrology, Virgo. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Be safe, and I'll see you next month, guys.